Next shoe we're going to make for the Calgary Stampede World Championship Blacksmiths Competition is the tooled and fullered Hunter Hind Caulk and Wedge. It's probably a very, very traditional English shoe. We start off with 15 mils square and we have to put it through a swedge block, leaving enough material on the ends to make a caulk and a wedge. A lot of guys mark their blocks up so they know whether they're making a left or a right. So what we're going to do now, get the steel hot. I'll start off by running the inside branch up and starting my wedge, and then we'll put it through the swedge block with a striker. The tools we're going to use is a swedge block. I keep a piece of leather underneath it. It helps to, stop it jumping around at the anvil. This 5/8 square is going to be forged into the swedge block. So once it's tooled, then I'll use a guide fuller because we've got to go along a very thin edge. So it's a guide fuller. There's a long blade and a short blade. The long blade goes to the outside of the steel and allows us to mark the top of the material. Once I've marked it, I have a very thin fuller. And I use a very thin one because I want to go in and get quite deep with the fullering. So we'll go in with a thin one and then we'll just clean the fullering up at the end with a normal fuller. So our first heat now, we want to get about 3/4 of the length hot. That way we can tool past the center. So then when we have our transition, we only got to transition a short piece. Pulling it up into a wedge, into a point at the end. And I'll bend it up a little bit over the horn, about 1 inch. And then I can forge my wedge back into itself. So I have an equal angle on the front and the back of the wedge. Straighten it up, get nice clean corners on it. Forge the shape of the heel. Now tool a little bit more. Okay. Okay, that's it. Once we've got it tooled, now I'll just have a quick heat on the heel just to finish the heel off and rasp it up. Nice we rasp our wedge. It's a really important feature of this shoe. The better the shoe will look. Because the quality of the heels will make a really big impact to the judge, because that's one of the things that will really separate the different shoes. Now I've turned the steel end for end, I have to turn the block to compensate. Okay, if I don't turn the block, I'm going to have an uneven section. So it's very important you turn your steel, you turn your block. We're going to half forge our heel caulk, or bend it over. We need about 3/4 of an inch because we've got a big lump of material there. Okay, and now we're going to tool it. Very important as we're tooling now to make sure we don't twist the material. Now we can start forging up our heel caulk a little bit more. Working our heel caulk, getting the finished shape. We don't have too much rasping to do. Put it over the edge, just tip it, So you work the whole front of the heel caulk. What we're going to do next is going to rasp the heel caulk, and then we're going to mark the center of the toe. We want the outside about 8 to 10 mil longer than the inside. Trying to capture the shape of the heel caulk that we've been asked to make. Gently bend it like concave because you don't want to damage the inside edge. Get a nice toe bend in it. Don't get too much twist in the branches. You don't want to have to fix it. I'm ready to mark my toenails, and I'll use my striker. I'll get my guide fuller. Now what I like to do is I like to flatten the top of the section just a little bit. What I do, I don't flatten it flat, I leave it a little bit high on the outside edge. We don't need much temperature to guide fuller, but try and be in line with your striker. Okay. Now the next stage is to use the splitter. So we'll get it up to an orange heat. It's important not to have it too hot when you're using the splitter. You want to give a chance for the splitter to sink in, not just blow the top apart. A bit harder there, okay. Fairly firm this time, a bit harder. Set it, one more, good. Okay, one more time from here. Now we're about 3/4 of the depth of the final fullering. Okay. Okay. There. Now we're at the right stage to go on, bend the branches, fuller it, and nail hole it. Gap for the clip. Got half a shoe. Heel lines up with the toenail. Now we're ready to do our inside branch. Bend our branch. Nail holes. Try and get the gap for the clip the same on both sides. Now pitch the nails to the angle of the hoof hole. A little bit more pitch at the toe and a little almost upright at the inside heel. Using a cross peen so I don't have too big a hole between the clips. Between the nail holes, I should say. A nice strong base. So I localize my heat a little bit when I'm clipping tool and fuller. Doesn't lose the shape, and you keep your tool and fuller a little bit better. Make a good strong clip. Not too big, it's a hunter shoe. They pull one off and step on it, we don't want them ending on a great big long clip. We haven't lost much shape with our clipping process. Shouldn't have too much rasping to do. We've rasped our heel caulk up already. Just want to clean the inside a little bit. We'll level the shoe, check our nail holes. I put a Mustad E5 Slim in this. I don't think it's specified at the competition right now. There we go, got our shoe finished.